Hi everyone, and welcome back to your third installment of the Welcome to Haiku training sessions. It's me, Aaron Flexer again, and hopefully today we're going to learn about a few other new features. We've had a chance to go through the various content blocks. Last week we went through Connect, where we saw things such as discussions, Dropboxes, and polls. And today we're going to focus on the Assess tab. Assess tab is where a lot of great things happen, really a lot of great tools. And so we'll see how many we get through today. The first thing I want to go through is the Assess feature. Assessments are really great, whether it's as homework, in-class work, tests, quizzes. There are a lot of uses for assessments here, so let's jump right in. So you're going to go to your class page, you'll log in, which hopefully by now you're comfortable doing. Go to Assess and click on Assessments. And today we're actually going to start creating a new assessment and play around a little bit. So I'm going to guide you through that right now. So you're going to go ahead and click on Add Assessment. And the first option you're going to see here, which is very important, is what type of assessment do you want to create? Haiku offers two types of assessments. And they actually are different, so it's very important that you understand this. Exams and practices, what's the difference? Basically, the main difference is a practice is just like it sounds. It's something that gives the student an opportunity to practice the questions, take it multiple times. As the student is taking the assessment, he or she can see whether the question is right or wrong. An exam, of course, that doesn't occur. When an exam is going on, the student cannot see the results until the end. Even if you do give the student multiple attempts on an exam, if the student looks at the answers before using all attempts, Haiku will recognize that and the student will forfeit the other attempts. So they're structured very differently in that regard. And just practically, the exam allows short answer questions, which is obviously subjective feedback, whereas in practice, which again is really designed for students to have immediate feedback, there's no option for short answer. Only things that have immediate feedback, such as multiple choice, matching, etc. So for today, just so we can see how it works, we can really do either one. Let's just set up as a practice. I'll click on Practice and click Next. And now it's going to ask you some of the basic information. Practice title, we're just going to call this Random Sports Trivia. Okay, why not? And we're going to leave the standards out for now. That's for a whole different discussion. You could put a description here if you want. You're going to choose which grading period you're using. Now, if you have not set up your gradebook, which you probably have not, hopefully we'll get to that in this video if there's some time. So right now you probably don't have that option, but if you have set up your gradebook, you would select when you want it to be in, so that the Haiku puts the grades into your book automatically, which is great. You would choose where this goes under in your gradebook. Is this a test? Is this assignments? We'll leave this as assignments. How many points you want this to be worth? Do you want it to be extra credit? And then you have the Organize tab. The Organize tab happens to be really great for your question library, which is basically a great way to amass questions both for yourself and for your school. Basically, what Organize does is it allows you to categorize both by grade level and by subject, so that someone else could easily find it later and use questions from your assessment. I definitely suggest you do that to build up your question bank. So we're just going to do this as health and physical education, all grade levels, and I'm going to tag it as sports. Okay, and let's click Next. And here you have a few more options that you need to set up. Number one, do you want this to be timed or not? We'll make it timed, so I'll give it 60 minutes. There will be a timer as the student takes the exam. Do you want the student to take it one time or multiple times? If this is practice, we could give him 10 times. So let's see that. If you select more than once, do you want their grade to be their best attempt or an average? So let's leave it as an average. How many times can they get a question wrong? I'll leave it as 1. Give points only on the first attempt or partial credit. I'll give only a point on the first attempted correct answer. And then you could even select, do you want to randomize the questions? Do you want to randomize answers in the questions? I'll uncheck those, and since this is practice, I will not require a safe exam browser, which we'll talk about another time. And just so you know, if you do ever decide to randomize the answers, I've learned from trial and error, so just as a tip, if you have an option of all of the above or A and B, well, that's going to get all mixed up, so be careful with that. And we're going to go ahead and click Finish. And now you're going to see something blank, but this is where you're going to build up your questions. Now, right now, it says Section 1. If you want to name that, based on subject, so if this is random sports trivia, we can do each section as a different sport. So you would go over here to click Edit and change the name of the section. Or you could just do Section 1 is multiple choice, Section 2 is true or false, whatever you think is best. And now we're going to go ahead and add questions. So basically there are 4 types of questions that you should take some time to play around with. We're not going to do them all right now as we have a short amount of time. But basically what you would use in any assessment, you could have fill in the blanks, you could have matching, you could have multiple choice, and you could have true or false. They all look the same, they're just set up differently. Let me just show you one as an example. Let's go to multiple choice. So multiple choice, so first you put in your question. So we'll write, who won the World Series in 2013? Question mark. And over here you could put down your options. By standard you have 4 boxes. You could add more if you want to from here. So we'll write the Yankees, the Red Sox, Cardinals, and the Astros. And the right answer here is the Red Sox, so we'll click this button over here. You could, if you want, make a little kudos thing if they get it right. So you could write, great job. You could also click on hint for the incorrect answers. If they're able to take more than 1 attempt and you want to give them a hint, you could do that as well. And the standard weight being 1 point or 1 equal portion of the total grade. And you'll click on finish, or if you want to do another multiple choice right away, finish and add another. So click finish, and there's your question. Just to show you one more type of question, which is matching, just so you see what it looks like. You basically, again, have the question here on top, and then these are the right answers, and Haiku will jumble them up for you. So I'm just going to do something quickly. Baseball, bat, basketball, hoop, hockey, puck. Okay, so you see what it looks like. You're gonna so here these are the answers, but your students are going to see 2 separate columns, and they'll have to click and drag from one to the other. One great thing with assessments once you're finished is when you want to print it out, so you can have it printed out with answers or without answers. So if you want to let your students go over it, you could print it with the answers. If you want them to have a hard copy to take, you'd print it without the answers. There's also a lot of great statistics, which are not available now because no one's taken it, but statistics would show you the percentage of your students who are getting questions right by each question, so you could see if students are struggling with a particular question. That's a really great feature. And remember, of course, as always, everything is not published until you click publish. Let's publish it now, and I'm going to publish it to all sections, and I won't give them a deadline for this. They could take it any time. It's just practice. It's for fun. And these are things I already chose already, and I could put it on a page if I want. So therefore, it would sort of create a content block for me. I'll put it on my Geo Quizzes page and click Finish. And just go back to the pages for a second to see it. And if you go here, And there's the quiz you just made. So that's one really great feature of using assessments. Another thing I want to show you before we run out of time here is the assignments. So assignments really could be basically anything you want to be. The main question is whether you're using a Dropbox or not. That's the main part of it. Now let me just show you one assignment that I already created here. Show you what it looks like. Basically, this is when I posted it. Here are some instructions and an attachment that I put in along with the assignment. And when the students are seeing this, they would go to their Dropbox to submit it, which is where I would grade it. So let's go take a look at that for a second, just so you see what the grading would look like. So as you see here, here are my students, and here are the different assessments or assignments I've made. You see here is the random sports trivia, and there are no grades yet because they have not been taken. They also have not been published in terms of their grade. This does not mean that the assignment has not been published. It just means that the grade has not been published. Let me show you though how to set up a new gradebook. So in order to do that, we're going to go back to grades and click add gradebook. And we're going to use traditional grading. And you're going to name the gradebook, so you can call this history. And you'll probably want to use the gradebook categories, such as tests, homeworks, and projects. Otherwise, you can make your own. Whether or not you want to include a final, if you plan on giving a cumulative final at the end. Asks you how much you want to round, how you want to display the grade, and the letters. If you want to do a standard A, B, C, D grades, or you want to make your own. And special score notation would be things such as absent, excused. If you have a kid is absent, you don't want him to necessarily get points, but also not to lose points. You could set up all that as well. I'm not going to save this now just because I don't want to interfere with my current gradebook, but I just wanted you to see how that looked like. And certainly for the things we're doing today, your best bet is to go ahead and play around a little bit to get used to it. I hope you found this helpful. Let me know if you have any questions.